First contact with the Guardians. Commander Elena Rodriguez stood at the observation deck of the International Space Station's new xenobiology wing, watching the approaching vessel with a mixture of wonder and concern. The ship looked unlike anything humanity had encountered in their decade since joining the galactic community. It appeared to be composed entirely of flowing liquid metal, constantly shifting and reforming. "Man, we're detecting thousands of biosignatures," Lieutenant Chen reported from his station. "But they're weird. Most of them are in some kind of suspended animation. And they're tiny." Elena frowned at the readings on her tablet. After 5 years of running the ISS's Alien Relations Department, she'd learned that weird usually meant interesting. But these readings were beyond unusual. They showed patterns similar to embryonic development, but with energy signatures that made Earth's most advanced quantum computers look primitive. The liquid metal ship had come to a complete stop just outside the station's defensive perimeter. No communication attempts, no aggressive moves. Just waiting. Elena made her decision. "Open a general broadcast channel," she ordered. "All frequencies, all known protocols." Before she could speak, the ship's surface rippled, and a voice filled their minds, not through their comms, but directly into their thoughts. The translator AI struggled to keep up. Asterisk protection. Safety. Future. Please, asterisk. The desperation in those thoughts was unmistakable. Elena responded both verbally and mentally, thanks to the neural enhancers all ISS staff now wore. "This is Commander Rodriguez of Earth's International Space Station. We offer assistance to all peaceful visitors. Please clarify your needs." The liquid metal vessel shimmered, and an image formed in their minds. Thousands of developing consciousnesses, children of a species that existed as pure energy, contained within metallic shells. Their homeworld was dying, their adult population nearly extinct from a cosmic radiation surge. They had searched dozens of worlds, but their young required specific conditions to develop. Conditions that, impossibly, matched human brainwave patterns perfectly. "They need us to be incubators," Dr. Sarah Williams whispered, her xenobiology expertise quickly grasping the situation. "Not physically, mentally. Their young need to develop alongside conscious minds that can handle their energy patterns without burning out. And somehow, human minds are compatible." More images flooded their thoughts. Other species' minds burning out from the contact, mechanical attempts failing, the desperate search across the galaxy. Then they found Earth, monitored human broadcasts, and discovered something unique about human consciousness: its adaptability, its ability to handle multiple layers of thought and emotion without breaking. Elena felt the weight of the moment. This wasn't just first contact with a new species. This was a request to help preserve an entire civilization. The political implications alone would be staggering. But as she looked at the readings showing those thousands of dormant consciousnesses, waiting for a chance to develop, to live, she knew there was only one possible answer. "We will help," she transmitted, feeling the wave of relief and gratitude from the ship. "But we need to understand exactly what's required. And we need to establish protocols to ensure both your children's safety and ours." The liquid metal vessel shifted, extending a tendril toward the station. Not threatening, offering. Elena saw images of their history, their technology, their culture. They were the Meridians, beings of pure energy who had achieved consciousness beyond physical form centuries ago. But their young needed protection, guidance, and mental contact during development. Over the next few hours, Elena and her team learned that the process wasn't dangerous to humans. In fact, it was surprisingly natural. The young Meridians would form a passive mental link, experiencing human consciousness as a template while developing their own. The human hosts would be aware of their presence, but not burdened by it, like carrying a sleeping passenger in a small corner of their mind. "We'll need volunteers," Elena told her staff, already knowing she would be the first. "And we'll need to expand our facilities. But more importantly, we need to prepare for what this means. Earth won't just be making first contact with the Meridians, we'll be becoming guardians of their future. The news spread quickly through the station, then to Earth. The response surprised even Alina. Thousands of volunteers stepped forward, drawn by the chance to help preserve a dying species. Humanity, despite all its flaws and struggles, had found its calling among the stars not as conquerors or traitors, but as protectors. As Alina completed the first successful hosting of a young Meridian consciousness, feeling the gentle presence in her mind like a sleeping child, she realized that this was just the beginning. Word would spread through the galaxy. Earth, the world where consciousness itself could become a cradle for new life. The planet of guardians, where aliens entrusted their most precious resource, their future. The liquid metal ship, now empty of its precious cargo, dissolved into a shower of starlight, its final purpose complete. But in the minds of 1,000 human volunteers, new lives were beginning to stir, and Earth's role in the galaxy was forever changed. The Trust Protocol. The United Nations chamber had never been so crowded. 6 months after the Meridian first contact, representatives from every nation packed the hall, their attention fixed on the holographic displays showing the first successful maturation of a Meridian consciousness. Alina Rodriguez, now director of the Interstellar Guardian program, stood at the podium, the gentle presence of her own Meridian charge humming contentedly in her mind. "The first generation is developing faster than expected," she announced, gesturing to the swirling patterns of light that represented a young Meridian's conscious thoughts. "More importantly, we've documented no adverse effects on any of our volunteers. The synthesis between human and Meridian consciousness appears to be perfectly natural. As if we were made for this," Dr. Williams completed from her seat in the front row, her own Meridian charge pulsing in agreement. But not everyone shared their enthusiasm. Ambassador Chen from the Asian Coalition stood, his expression stern. "While the scientific achievement is remarkable, we must address the security implications. We are literally allowing alien consciousnesses to develop inside human minds. What prevents these beings from influencing their hosts, from accessing sensitive information?" Alina had expected this question. She pulled up another hologram, this one showing the intricate neural patterns of the hosting process. The Meridians exist in a parallel layer of consciousness, like a protected dream state. They learn from experiencing our conscious patterns, but cannot access or influence our thoughts. Think of it like teaching a child by example, without words or direct interaction. And what happens when they mature? The Russian representative's voice carried across the chamber. "Will we have a population of energy beings living among us?" "No," Alina said, smiling as her own charge rippled with anticipation of its future. "Upon maturation, they naturally seek to join the higher energy planes where adult Meridians exist. We're not creating a permanent population. We're helping them reach their natural state of being." The chamber erupted in discussion, but Alina's attention was drawn to her assistant's urgent message. "Director, we're detecting another arrival. Non-Meridian." Alina's heart raced as she quickly adjourned the session and made her way to the ISS's new Guardian wing. The approaching ship was organic in nature, looking more like a massive floating sea creature than a spacecraft, and it was broadcasting on all frequencies. "Asterisk, we watch. We see. We bring young asterisk." The new species called themselves the Aquari, beings of liquid thought and flowing memory. Their children needed specific electromagnetic frequencies to develop properly, frequencies that, by some cosmic coincidence, matched human brain activity during sleep. They too sought Earth's guardianship. Over the next few weeks, more came. The crystalline collective, whose young required the complex emotional patterns the humans generated naturally. The void dancers, whose children needed to experience linear time through human consciousness to develop their own temporal awareness. Each species had discovered, independently, that human minds provided the perfect nurturing environment for their developing young. "It's not a coincidence," Dr. Williams explained during an emergency council meeting. Human consciousness evolved to be incredibly adaptable. We can dream, imagine, feel, reason, all simultaneously. Our minds naturally create the complex patterns these species need for their young to develop. We're like a universal incubator for consciousness itself. The implications were staggering. Earth began establishing protocols for each species, creating specialized facilities that could accommodate their unique needs. The Meridian success had proved the concept. Now humanity needed to scale up to help preserve multiple alien species simultaneously. Alina found herself working with architects to design new orbital platforms specifically for hosting alien young. Each station would be equipped with specialized chambers for different species, staffed by trained human volunteers. The technology provided by the grateful alien species helped solve Earth's energy and resource problems, but more importantly, it united humanity in a common purpose. We're not just protecting individual species anymore, Alina told her staff as they prepared to receive the first HFY young. We're becoming fundamental to the continuation of conscious life in our galaxy. Every human who volunteers becomes part of something greater than themselves. We're literally helping to birth the future of multiple civilizations. The process wasn't without its challenges. Some humans reported intense dreams when hosting void dancer young. Others developed temporary synesthesia while nurturing crystalline consciousness. But none of the effects were harmful, and many hosts described the experience as profoundly moving. As Alina watched the first HFY ship dock with the new Guardian Platform Alpha, she felt her Meridian charge pulse with something like pride. In less than a year, humanity had gone from a relatively unknown species to perhaps the most important guardians in the galaxy, not through force or technology, but through their unique capacity to nurture and protect. The Trust Protocol, as it came to be known, would reshape human society. Schools began teaching xenoconsciousness theory alongside traditional subjects. Children grew up understanding that their minds could one day help alien young develop. Earth's divisions began to fade as humans united in their role as guardians of galactic consciousness. And in the depths of space, word continued to spread. Earth, the cradle of minds, where the future of 1,000 species could safely grow. The breaking storm. The alert came at 3 a.m. Earth time. Alina was pulled from her meditation session with her second Meridian charge by a priority message from Guardian Platform Beta Xi. Unidentified vessels approaching. Energy signatures match no known species. They're not responding to hails. Alina reached the command center just as the ships came into visual range. Unlike the organic or energy-based vessels of their alien allies, these were angular, aggressive, all sharp edges and weapon ports. The lead ship's hull bore marks that the translator interpreted as harvesters. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL, Lieutenant Chen reported, his fingers dancing across the holographic controls. They're surrounding all 3 Guardian platforms. Alina felt the fear ripple through the thousands of developing consciousnesses housed in the platforms. Meridian, HFY, crystalline, and dozens more species that had entrusted their young to human care. Even the void dancer children, usually invisible to normal sensors, pulsed with anxiety. The incoming transmission was audio only, the voice harsh and mechanical. You harbor valuable resources. The consciousness patterns of developing energy beings are worth millions on the quantum computing market. Surrender your facilities or be destroyed. Alina's blood ran cold. They weren't facing raiders or pirates. These were consciousness traffickers, selling the equivalent of infant minds to be used as processing units. The very thought made her sick. This is Director Elena Rodriguez of Earth's Guardian Platforms. The beings in our care are children, not resources. Leave now or face the consequences. The response was immediate. A barrage of energy weapons fired at Platform Alpha. But the attack never landed. The space around the platform shimmered, and the energy blasts dissipated harmlessly. Defense systems holding, Chen reported with a grin. Looks like all those gifts from our grateful alien allies weren't just for show. But Alina knew they couldn't just play defense. The traffickers would keep coming, and eventually they might find a way through. They needed to send a message that Earth's protection of these children was absolute. "Initialize Protocol Aurora," she ordered. Throughout her neural network, she felt the agreement of thousands of human hosts, each connected to their alien charges. What they were about to do had never been attempted. The human hosts began synchronizing their brainwave patterns, creating a cascading effect through their alien charges. Meridian energy patterns amplified human thought. Crystalline consciousness provided structure. Aquari awareness added fluidity. And the void dancers contributed their mastery of space-time itself. The result was beyond anything the traffickers could have expected. The space around Earth's platforms came alive with consciousness itself. Every human host, working in perfect harmony with their alien charges, contributed to a field of pure protective thought. The traffickers' weapons turned to dust. Their ship's quantum computers, ironically built from harvested consciousness, went dark. The entire fleet hung helpless in space. Elena opened a channel to the lid ship. "We are not warriors. We are not conquerors. We are guardians. The beings in our care are not resources to be harvested. They are the future of their species, and we will protect them with everything we are." The trafficking fleet retreated, their ships limping away through conventional drives. But Elena knew this was just the beginning. Earth's role as guardian would continue to attract both those seeking protection and those seeking to exploit. In the aftermath, something unprecedented occurred. The adult representatives of various species arrived not just to check on their young, but to offer Earth formal protection treaties. The Meridians would share their mastery of energy. The Crystallines would teach humans about consciousness technology. The Aquari would help enhance Earth's understanding of organic computing. But most surprisingly, the young ones themselves had been changed by the experience. The human response to the threat, not with violence, but with pure protective intention, had influenced their development. These children would grow up understanding cooperation between species in a way their parents never had. "We didn't just protect them," Dr. Williams observed as they watched the first post-crisis consciousness patterns. "We taught them something fundamental about what it means to be guardians." Elena nodded, feeling her own meridian charge pulse with new understanding. Earth had proven itself not just capable of nurturing alien young, but of defending them in a way that reflected the best of both human and alien nature. The news spread faster than light through the galaxy. Earth, where the children of 1,000 species were not just safe, but understood, where protection came not from weapons, but from the unified will of humans who had chosen to be guardians. And in the minds of those who had witnessed it, a new truth emerged. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their technology or their adaptability, but in their absolute commitment to protecting those in their care. Bonds beyond stars. The graduation ceremony, as humans had come to call it, was unlike anything in Earth's history. Inside Guardian Platform Alpha's central chamber, thousands of human hosts gathered to witness their charge's final transition to full consciousness. Elena stood at the observation deck, watching the swirling patterns of light that represented the first generation of Meridian young preparing to join their adult form. Her own charge, whom she'd come to think of as Aurora, pulsed with a mixture of excitement and what could only be described as bittersweet emotion. After 18 months of sharing consciousness, the separation would be felt by both human and alien alike. "We've detected an anomaly," Dr. Williams announced, studying the quantum readings. "The maturing consciousnesses, they're different from their parent species. More complex." Elena had noticed it too. The young ones weren't just developing as expected. They were evolving. Each species' children had taken on subtle characteristics of their human hosts, not weaknesses, but strengths. Meridian showed increased emotional capacity. Crystalline young demonstrated enhanced adaptability. Aquari manifested stronger individual identities while maintaining their collective awareness. "It's beautiful," came a thought voice, and Elena turned to see Ambassador Lyra, the adult Meridian representative, her energy form shimming with wonder. "We hoped your species could protect our young. We never imagined you would help them transcend." The ceremony began. One by one, the matured consciousnesses rose from their human hosts, their patterns a stunning blend of their original species nature and something uniquely human. Aurora was among the last, and as she separated from Alina's mind, she left behind not emptiness, but understanding. Asterisk, we carry part of you with us. Asterisk, Aurora communicated to all present. Asterisk, not just memories or patterns, but purpose. We understand now what it means to be guardians. Asterisk. The impact of this development rippled through the galaxy. The first generation of Earth-nurtured alien young didn't just return to their species, they became bridges between civilizations. They understood cooperation and protection in ways their parents never had, having experienced it through human consciousness during their development. But it wasn't just the alien young who were changed. Humans who served as hosts reported lasting effects, enhanced empathy, broader perspective, and in some cases, entirely new ways of perceiving reality. The bond between guardian and charge had transformed both. We're recording unprecedented neural growth in long-term hosts, Dr. Williams explained during an emergency council meeting. It's as if the experience of nurturing alien consciousness is unlocking dormant potential in human minds. The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just protecting alien young. They were evolving alongside them. Each new generation of hosts and charges grew more attuned, more capable of understanding the fundamental interconnectedness of all conscious life. Yet with this growth came new challenges. Some feared humanity might lose its identity, becoming too alien in their thinking. Others worried about the responsibility of shaping so many young minds. Alina addressed these concerns at a global broadcast. We're not losing our humanity. We're fulfilling it. Our species has always been defined by our ability to care, to protect, to nurture. Now we're doing it on a cosmic scale. The truth of her words was proven when the first human children born to former hosts began showing remarkable abilities. They could naturally sense the electromagnetic patterns of alien consciousness, as if humanity itself was adapting to its new role in the galaxy. One such child, Maria Chen, daughter of Lieutenant Chen, demonstrated the ability to communicate with alien young without neural enhancers. During a diplomatic crisis with a newly discovered species, it was Maria who first understood their unique form of consciousness and helped establish proper nurturing protocols. The children of guardians, Ambassador Lyra observed, watching Maria work. They bridge worlds without even trying. Perhaps this is why your species was chosen, not just to protect our young, but to help all consciousness evolve together. As Alina prepared Guardian Platform Delta for launch, expanding Earth's nurturing capacity yet again, she reflected on how far they'd come. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy, not through conquest or commerce, but through their capacity to care, to protect, and to grow alongside those they guarded. The new platform would incorporate lessons learned from each species, its design a physical representation of the synthesis between human and alien consciousness. More than a facility, it would be a crucible of evolution, where the future of multiple species would take shape under human guardianship. And in the minds of both humans and aliens, a deeper truth was emerging. Consciousness itself was transforming. The boundaries between species were not breaking down, but becoming more meaningful, defined not by separation, but by how they could complement and enhance each other. As the first stars of evening became visible from Earth, Alina felt the familiar sensation of a new meridian charge settling into her consciousness. The cycle would begin again, but this time with deeper understanding. They were all growing together, guardians and charges, humans and aliens, toward something greater than any species could achieve alone. The Great Test. The distress signal reached Earth simultaneously through every known form of communication, electromagnetic, quantum, consciousness-based, and even through the deep space patterns the Void Dancers used. Alina was awakened by the urgent pulse of her newest meridian charge, its consciousness pattern radiating alarm. Multiple species reporting the same phenomenon. Lieutenant Chen reported as the Guardian Council assembled. Something is disrupting consciousness development across the galaxy. Natural gestation is failing for almost every non-physical species. The holographic displays showed the scope of the crisis. From the crystalline nurseries of the Helios cluster to the quantum fields where aquarii young typically formed, consciousness patterns were destabilizing. Species that had never sought Earth's help were now sending desperate pleas. "We need to understand what's causing this," Elena said, but before she could continue, a new presence made itself known. Through the combined consciousness of every human host and alien charge, a vision appeared. They saw it then, a massive tear in the quantum fabric of space itself, leaking entropy that disrupted the delicate patterns needed for consciousness to form and develop. The Void Dancers called it the Null Cascade. It was a natural phenomenon, but one that could end the development of new consciousness throughout the galaxy. "Can we seal it?" Elena asked, but the adult representatives of various species shared their attempted solutions. Direct energy had failed. Quantum manipulation had only made it worse. Even the Void Dancers' mastery of space-time couldn't close the rift. Then Maria Chen, now a teenager and Earth's foremost consciousness interpreter, stepped forward. "We're thinking about this wrong," she said, her voice carrying the wisdom of someone who had grown up bridging worlds. "We can't fight entropy with force. We need to do what humans do best, nurture and protect, but on a galactic scale." The plan that emerged was both brilliant and terrifying. Every Guardian platform would link together, creating a network of human hosts and their alien charges. The developed patterns of multiple species consciousness, filtered through human minds, might be able to create a stabilizing field. "The risk is enormous," Dr. Williams warned. "We've never attempted consciousness synchronization on this scale. The human hosts could be permanently affected." But they had no choice. The wave of entropy was spreading, and already reports were coming in of species losing their ability to produce new consciousness patterns entirely. Elena took her place in the synchronization chamber, surrounded by thousands of other human hosts. Each carried within them the developing consciousness of different species: meridians, crystallines, aquarii, void dancers, and dozens more that had sought Earth's protection. "Remember," she broadcast to all hosts, "we're not fighting the entropy. We're creating a space where new consciousness can safely develop. We're doing what we've always done, just bigger." The synchronization began. Human minds linked together, their thought patterns amplified by their alien charges. Meridian energy provided power. Crystalline patterns created structure. Aquarii consciousness added adaptability. Void dancers contributed their understanding of space-time itself. What emerged was something entirely new, a field of pure protective consciousness, emanating from Earth in ever-expanding waves. Where it touched the entropy leak, it didn't seal it or fight it. Instead, it created safe pockets, zones where consciousness could develop naturally despite the disruption. The effort was tremendous. Many human hosts collapsed, their minds stretched to the absolute limit. But they held on, supported by their alien charges who shared their strength, just as humans had nurtured them. When it was over, the galaxy had changed. The entropy leak still existed, but now contained within a lattice of consciousness-sustaining fields generated by the combined effort of humans and their alien charges. These fields would allow new consciousness to develop safely, preserving the future of all species. But the human hosts had changed too. The extreme synchronization had awakened something dormant in human consciousness, a deeper connection to the fundamental patterns of thought and being. They could now perceive the quantum frequencies of consciousness directly, without technological assistance. "We've evolved," Maria explained, watching the new patterns flow through human minds. "Not just as individuals, but as a species. We're no longer just guardians of consciousness. We're part of the basic framework that allows it to exist." As Elena stood at the observation deck, watching the consciousness-sustaining fields shimmer across space, she understood. Humanity had found its true purpose not in reaching for the stars, but in ensuring that consciousness itself could continue to grow and develop throughout the galaxy. The Great Test had revealed an even greater truth. Humans weren't chosen as guardians by accident. Something in their very nature made them perfect for nurturing the future of consciousness itself. Legacy of the Guardians. A decade after the Null Cascade crisis, Earth had become something its inhabitants could never have imagined. The Guardian platforms, once simple nurseries for alien consciousness, had evolved into vast networks of interconnected minds, where humans and their charges created new realities together. Elena stood in the newly completed Consciousness Academy, watching young human students interact naturally with developing alien minds. Unlike her generation, who had needed neural enhancers and specialized training, these children were born with the ability to sense and nurture alien consciousness. The latest statistics are in, Dr. Williams said, now heading the Department of Evolutionary Consciousness. Her silver hair caught the light from a passing meridian youth. Over 60% of human children now manifest natural consciousness linking abilities. We're seeing the emergence of what some are calling Homo Guardian. The changes weren't just biological. Human society had restructured itself around their role as cosmic nurturers. Cities included spaces for developing alien consciousness. Schools taught both earth sciences and the art of mental synchronization. The very concept of what it meant to be human had expanded to include their connection to the galaxy's young. Ambassador Aurora is arriving, Lieutenant Chen announced. Elena smiled at the mention of her first charge, now a leading figure in Meridian society. The being of pure energy that materialized in the chamber bore little resemblance to the infant consciousness she had once nurtured, but Elena could still feel their connection. We bring news, Aurora communicated, her thought patterns touching not just Elena's mind, but reaching out to all nearby humans and their charges. The consciousness-sustaining fields have begun self-replicating. The pattern you created has taken root in the fabric of space-time itself. The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just solved a crisis. They had fundamentally altered the galaxy to better support the development of new consciousness. The fields they had created during the Null Cascade crisis were spreading, creating safe zones for new minds to form and grow. We never sought to change the universe, Elena said, watching a group of crystalline young practicing thought form manipulation with their human guardians. We only wanted to protect those in our care. That is why you succeeded, Aurora responded. Your species' instinct to nurture, to protect without dominating, made you perfect catalysts for consciousness evolution. The Academy's central chamber filled with representatives from across the galaxy, energy beings, crystalline entities, liquid thought forms, and dozens of other species whose young now developed under human protection. They had come for the convergence, a ceremony marking the maturation of a new generation of consciousness. But this ceremony was different. For the first time, human children would be among those transitioning to a higher state of awareness. The boundary between guardian and charge was blurring as humanity itself evolved. Maria Chen, now a young woman, led the ceremony. Her consciousness reached out, touching each developing mind, both alien and human, with perfect understanding. Under her guidance, the new generation rose together, their patterns interweaving in ways that would have been impossible just a few years ago. We are all guardians now, Maria announced, her voice carrying both sound and thought. Not just humans protecting alien young, but all consciousness supporting each other's growth and evolution. The galaxy had changed. Species that once fought over resources now collaborated in the nurturing of new minds. The consciousness-sustaining fields had made space itself more hospitable to the development of awareness, and at the center of it all was Earth, not as a political or military power, but as the heart of consciousness evolution. Elena touched the mind of her current charge, a young void dancer whose patterns were already showing signs of the new synthesis. In its developing consciousness, she could feel the future taking shape, a future where the boundaries between species would matter less than their shared role in nurturing the universal mind. We didn't just find our place in the galaxy, Elena reflected, watching the streams of consciousness dance around her. We helped the galaxy itself evolve. The ceremony concluded with a new tradition. The graduated consciousnesses, both alien and human, created a shared vision of their future, a galaxy where every new mind would have the chance to develop and grow, protected by the legacy of the Guardians. As the vision faded, Alina felt Aurora's familiar presence one last time. Asterisk, you came looking for the stars. Asterisk, the thought echoed. Asterisk, instead, you became the nurturers of starlight itself. This is humanity's true legacy, not the conquest of space, but the protection of the consciousness that fills it. Asterisk. And in the minds of every being present, human and alien alike, they could feel the truth of it. Earth had become more than a cradle for consciousness. It had become a beacon, showing the galaxy a new way forward. Through this simple act of caring, of choosing to protect and nurture, humanity had changed the very nature of existence itself. The age of the Guardians had truly begun.